Welcome to the Impactful Engineer Project. I'm Steve Maxey, and with my co-host and brother Jake, we are here to bring you guidance, fresh ideas, and the tools to help you become an impactful engineer. Today on The Impactful Engineer, I am here again with my brother Jake for an authentic conversation around engineering and personal development. Our goal is to create an environment for career excellence targeted towards engineering professionals. We believe that being open about what we've learned in our own careers will benefit others in their unique journey of engineering. Ultimately, we want people to have fulfilled careers and be inspired to become the best versions of themselves.
Sorry to interrupt immediately, Steve. I love that intro. I haven't
You do?
heard that one yet, and you rewrote it for this episode specifically. Dude, that's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thank
I think
you.
that truly embodies what we're trying to do.
Yeah,
Yes.
I just wasn't jiving with the previous one, so that's
Nope.
why I was like, you know what, I'm just going to rewrite this and just see how it goes.
Yeah, very good.
So, yeah, today I'm bringing up a topic of controversy, one that is very touchy in the conversation of your current employment and during the interview process, and that is quitting.
Quitting. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
For everyone listening, we're going to try a little something different here. I came up with a topic. I have a couple questions. Jake is seeing our notes barely, like just what the topic is, but not really what I'm going to be asking him. And he's going to answer, and we're going to have a conversation just off the cuff. So I think this will be fun.
I like it.
Yeah. So, back to the topic, right? Quitting. Why you quit your last role, and how do you explain that in an interview, right, to that potential company? So
okay.
So you can use examples, you can talk hypothetical, but how would you explain why you quit a previous role in an interview?
Interesting. Okay. So I have limited experience with this right off the bat because I've moved companies in my current profession only twice, three total companies. Okay. So take it as you will with that limited experience. And I will stay in the lane and I will not offshoot off this. I will answer it directly. Okay. Because I have a lot of thoughts on quitting. But anyway, so how would I explain why I'm moving roles to anyone who wants to know? I guess basically the person that I'm actively, or the position that I'm actively pursuing is probably one of them in an interview. Maybe a recruiter's involved, something like that. Okay.
Yep.
The first move was really easy because that was a decision based off of family and where we were going in our lives, not where I was going in my career. So that one was pretty easy. We moved across the country. Right?
Yeah.
So, well, why'd you quit your job? Well, because this was pre-hybrid work and I'm going to be close to 3,000 miles away, pretty much as far as you can get away on the other side of the country. Right? Reading, California to Plymouth, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
You know, I guess I could have gone farther, but that's pretty far. So that one was easy, right? So explaining that one. So let's stay off that one. That one's a little too easy. Why did I quit my last one? So this is a little more juicy. It's more in the realm of better opportunity and better vision of the future and a better fit. So I'll go through those. The first two kind of combine. So in my interview, I'm explaining as I'm pursuing a new job opportunity from my old one. I said, I have no clear vision of the future at my current company. It's very muddy, and I like to know where I'm going and be working towards that 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10-year vision. Look far ahead. And I was at the point in my career that I got to do that, and that it was reasonably expected that I should be able to be painted a picture of where I'm going. So I wasn't getting that in my current company that I was working for. And then I'll just skip to the last one. I think it's the most important thing. It's like I just didn't fit. So I'm moderately enjoying the work. It's not like it was just the most terrible place to work. I was still growing and learning to be a better engineer and a better human at that time. So I have to give them that as well. Learning how to navigate what I did actually want. But to explain it, I didn't fit. I see the values and the future of the position I'm pursuing much more clearly, and I see it fitting much better into what I want than the job that I currently have. And that's where I started. And then we talked about, they understood that. They were a company they have a great culture. They understood my comments right away. They're like, we hear it all the time. They're very understanding about it. Of course, because I'm interviewing and they want me as well, right? Recent registered professional engineer. They knew that. They needed one. They contacted me, that kind of stuff, right? So of course they understood, but now I know that they really did understand. But yeah, we discussed fit. So I'm like, hey, I have these skills. I'm a great engineer. I know how to do XYZ technically, but I also have some of these leadership skills, these other soft skills. I know how to work in a team, blah, blah, blah. Trying to just sell myself, but giving the reason that fit was really where I was at. I was going nowhere at the other job, it felt like. And then all my ways of doing things, like, not that everyone should do things my way, but 99 out of 100 of the things that I thought would be a better way to do something, just like there was no reception to the idea. I thought that their business model was outdated. I thought that I was being constrained in a very narrow position to do one thing and one thing only, to basically be a cog, and that's not who I am. And other people, that's fine with them, and that's okay. But it wasn't good for me, so I was like, all right, I gotta get out of here. So it was fit, yeah.
Yeah, so I think an important thing to note there is that it wasn't a good fit for you, but there are other engineers out there that it would be the perfect fit for, right? Because the values of that company would align perfect for them. But for you,
That's right.
It was not the perfect fit. And so you're seeking out that perfect fit. Hey, everyone. If this discussion brings up additional questions to the forefront of your mind, I encourage you to head over to impactfulengineer.com and sign up for a newsletter with your question. We may answer your inquiry directly on the podcast or even ask our guests to get their insight. If you're just enjoying the episode and want to make sure you never miss additional impactful content, you can still sign up for the newsletter without a question. And as always, you can reach out and follow us on LinkedIn under The Impactful Engineer.
Yeah. And I'll go a little more, like a little deeper. The way that the company operated, and that misalignment with how I wanted to operate within the team actually caused me to stop growing, to not want to come into work as excited as I used to. I mean, at my first company, I was so excited to come into work that I overworked myself and burned myself out and caused a bunch of problems for myself, because I was just like, yeah, this is awesome. I want to come here and work. But the fit here, I didn't want to come into work. I just kind of knew what I was going to face, and that it didn't matter how great I did. Nobody cared. Nobody cared about the contributions I was making, which is okay to a point, but you have to have that desire, that drive, right? At least for me. And if nobody wants to admit your value, or have discussions around what we can do better, just stay and just do what you're doing. It's like, I don't like that, I want to contribute.
Yeah.
So I wasn't growing at all. I wouldn't put out ideas anymore. I would just do all the work that I was supposed to do within 2 hours, and then I would sit around just like, what do I do now? And you weren't approved to proceed with anything else. It was kind of a situation where it was almost red tape or a bureaucracy, where it's like, Jake, you get to hold the wrench. That's it. You get to hold the wrench, but if you go to tighten a nut, that's violating. That's Joe's job. Joe goes and puts the wrench on there and tightens it. You hold it and wait for him to ask for it. I'm like,
yeah,
it kind of like that scenario. And it's like, but we can develop this and do that, and then we can get ahead on this, and then we should really be thinking, all the stuff we talked about in the podcast. Right?
Yeah.
It just really, that's a deeper reason why.
Hey, my fellow impactful engineers. If there's one thing that you could do to help out this community, is to keep listening to the podcast, but also if you found value in it, to share it with one person, give us a 5-star review, or even leave a text review. It'll only take a few seconds of your time. Find that person that you think could enjoy some of this or learn from it, and pass on the good word. Now back to the show.
Yeah. So the fit was more on not the job like duties and the type of job and work you're doing, but more on how the company operated and the culture of the company and in that realm.
100%.
Okay, yeah, and it's interesting because one of the jobs that I quit, um, considerably a long time ago in the span of my career was not for the culture fit. The culture fit was great actually, but it was the work itself. I just wasn't enjoying the work. Had a great culture, great growth opportunities. It paid well, and it was a fantastic place to work for other people who enjoyed that specific type of work. And I just was not into it. And it wasn't fair for me to stay there because I couldn't put my heart and soul into the work I was doing because I just did not like it. And so it's also a fit problem or reason to quit there, but it's not on the culture side. It's more on the work itself.
Mm-hmm. I could see
So
that. It's
yeah,
not as high as a priority for me. I kind of tell people I could be doing whatever as long as I'm able to contribute, build teams, have fun,
yeah,
that kind of stuff. But I get it. So, some of the work I do now is I'm doing it and I hate it. I'm like,
yeah,
but that's a very small portion of the work.
yeah. It's for me, especially at the time, right? Because this is early in my career, it was such a deviation of the work that I enjoyed doing. It wasn't like, oh, I like designing car parts, and now I'm designing, some other thing. It was I like designing stuff, and now I'm doing paperwork and uh, you know, trying to go through certification processes and stuff like that. And I thought that's all I was doing. I wasn't doing anything on the engineering side, and I just was not getting the fulfillment of what I was doing. So it was like a vast differentiation of skill sets and what I was doing. Now, did I learn a ton in during my tenure there? Absolutely, and I still use a lot of those skills today. But I just wasn't getting what I wanted out of the work I was doing. So
Got it.
I think that's another thing to consider, right? Is it there's a lot of aspects of fit um, that you need to have a fulfilling career. So, okay, with that, that kind of leads into my next question, and you know, this will have to be more hypotheticals because I know both you and I don't want to quit where we are right now. We enjoy it, but if you are someone who is at a place that you are thinking about it, right? It's a consideration. Um, when should you quit? What drives the decision to quit? And then I also want to pile on top of this is when you should not quit, right? So we could
Mm,
follow up with that. But when or when and what drives that decision to quit rather than stick it out?
mm. Okay. Let's go hit the financial side real quick. So just make sure that when you quit that your timing is right and you have that, I don't know, your 6 month expenses built up and you can actually do it in a way that's going to work for you and your family. So think about the
Yeah.
financial stuff, get that out of the way, make a plan for that. Um, as far as timing, why, what contributes to the why or maybe pushes you towards starting to quit? And maybe some warnings or cautions about that. Overall, I would say if you have the feeling that it's not working where you're at, you have the obligation to yourself to figure out why. Start asking why and getting curious, um, and learn to identify the bullshit reasons you'll come up with because your ego is flaring or you don't quote unquote get along with people or this guy or that person doesn't know how to do this. And if they just did, my work life would be better. Don't play the blaming game. Try to look at facts objectively uh, as you make that decision and work towards that decision. Um, so, for instance, you had a bad week. Like, it's not a reason to start thinking about quitting. That's a reason to start thinking about, why was that a bad week for me, and how do I make next week better? Right? That's the first place that I would go. So really try to start auditing your feelings and reflect back on why you think this is the right road. And if the answers come back to you, and start pointing you in that direction, then sure, take a step in that direction and really start thinking about it. For me, you've heard it already. Fit is a big one, but that can also be disguised by, like, you could claim it to be fit, but really look at yourself. What actions am I taking, and how am I behaving at work, and what is my part to play in this that is causing me to conclude that I do not fit here? Okay. And make sure you're not taking a small sample size of the larger picture and then applying that misalignment to the entire company. Okay. Because that will blind you from growth, learning how to handle people, learning how to improve yourself so that you're in a better position to fit within that company. There's so many things that you can't just blanket statement, I don't fit here, or this is hard and I'm going to quit. Not good reasons to quit. You could be walking away from something that will help your career tremendously if you stay 6 months to a year longer, and purposely work on some things within yourself and test that and see if the fit gets better. You could also, on the other side of that, stay 6 to 12 months too long, and then you've lost a net 2 years of growth because you were sitting there banging your head against the wall. It's up to you to decide. And if you guys ever want to, if you're in the scenario where you're thinking about quitting, message us on LinkedIn and let's have a coffee chat, and I will talk to you for 15 to 30 minutes, maybe an hour, like, about what you got going on, and maybe I can give you a list of questions to ask yourself, to better identify where these feelings are coming from, for your consideration. I mean, we're always up for that. But I could spend probably 90 minutes breaking all of that down, and that's not what this episode is for.
Yeah.
I think I went a little too long on that. I'll just stop, and Steve, you redirect me.
Yeah. No. So what if the question in your head is on the financial side, right? Or the position or title side, right? You're looking for growth. You want to grow really fast. You want to make a ton of money, and you're 2 years out of school, for example. I'm just, painting a picture here. And say you are making $80,000 a year, right? That's where you're at. You want to make $150,000 a year as soon as possible. And you want to have that level 3 engineer level, right? That title, not entry level engineer.
Okay. Yeah.
So with that in mind, do you quit where you're at, or do you find other ways to stay where you're at and accomplish those goals? Like how do you, what's your thought process in that scenario?
Sure. Hey, if you want to make a bunch of money really fast and you're an engineer working for somebody and part of a company, then quit your job and start a business or start selling a bunch of shit on the side and make a bunch of money. There's so many ways to make money in this world, and if that's your only goal, go get really good at telling stories and being a salesman, and then go hawk some shit and make a ton of money. I would never do that, but I'm just saying. I'm just being real here. Like, if you're looking at your engineering career, and of course there's careers that will lead to a lot of money over a long enough time horizon, if you're playing the long game. But if it's like, money's really important to me, and when I'm 23, I want to be a millionaire, and it's like, okay, well then go be a millionaire. Don't be an engineer. Try to force being a millionaire into that role. That's number one. So if money is the goal and you really want to make a ton of it, rethink your whole life. Or stay an engineer and find a side hustle that you really, really commit to, and make a bunch of money. Go have fun. If you're one of those people that's like, okay, I want to work within the bounds of engineering. I mean, I went to school. I worked really hard. I love engineering for a reason. Be in this career path. I want to work for somebody and not start my own business. Then here's what I'll say. Got to have some patience. I hate to tell you that, guys, but you do. Okay? But you can work very aggressively towards that goal. So if the salary and the position is the goal, have some patience, but then start talking to people and identify what do people do every day in the position that you want, and what do they get paid for that value proposition to provide at that level? And then work your ass off every single day to do those things and get there.
Yeah.
Period. End of story.
Yeah. You're not going to get promoted first and then have the expectation to do the work, right? You need to do the work first and show that you are worth more. You're providing that much more value to the company, and that's how you can demand more compensation.
Yep. And that's not even including the culture of the company.
Yes.
How accepting are they of people moving up quick if they've got the right stuff, and they can prove it, right? What's the perception going to be? Are there opportunities up there at that level that you could take, even if you were the best? All those things you got to consider and weed out, right? And then I'll say, be realistic, and I hate that too. Be realistic. Look at what 95% of the other engineers in your industry have done in their path and how it shook out for them. That's probably what's going to shake out for you too. You're not special, you know? And then the other thing is, I would, and this is what I've done personally, is just ditch the expectations and the mindset around solely going for the title and the money. I've found that you can move much faster and gain more skills with those expectations out of your way as you move towards them. You just move towards them. That's it. You don't expect anything from anybody. You take every opportunity that comes your way. You step through the door. You don't have fear around it. You have courage. You step through it. You take the opportunities. You start talking about what you want, not demanding. You start talking about it, and you don't saddle yourself with this 50-ton anchor of expectation, right? And if you can do that, I mean, shoot, if you're single and you got all the time in the world, you could accelerate your career pretty quickly by identifying the goals and taking all the steps and auditing yourself to say, how do I get to the goal? What does a person like this do? Why do they do that? How do they do that? What are the steps? List 10 steps. What is a person in that position? So like say, I don't know, you're like you're entry-level engineer, and then you want to be a PM, something like that. Pretty typical, right? Oh, we're going to work towards being a project manager. Well, what do project managers do all the time? What do they know? How do they do it? Oh, okay. So they kind of have a high-level idea about all of the engineering like in my industry, all the engineering disciplines. They have an idea of how all the systems work, how they interconnect, what's best for the client, how much they cost, stuff like that, right? Oh, okay. Do you know that? Oh, no? Okay. Well, then put on your list of activities to do every day to learn those things, right? Well, how does
start
he
doing
know
them
that,
too?
And start doing them. Yeah. How does he know? How does this person know all these things about this one thing that makes them a great PM? Break it down to 10 steps. Oh, they know how, at a high level, every type of mechanical system that there is for HVAC systems in a building. Oh, they do? Okay. That's important. Great. Now I'm going to go, okay, here's what RTUs look like and how they're built and what they do. Here's what VRF systems look like and how they're built and what they do. Here's what heat pump chiller systems look like and what they do and what the value they provide. And you're going to step into each one of those and break them down. Why? What are the parts and pieces? How much does it cost? What are the lead times? What are the benefits and energy efficiency? Where's the code going? What is this? What is this? How do you construct it? All these things, and just dive into it and learn all that stuff. And then you're very well on your way to becoming a PM. And then do the other 20 things and break those down too. So you need to take some responsibility. I know I'm getting long-winded on it, but like, if you want to get to the next level, take some responsibility to find out what the hell they do and then learn how to do it. And then when you're given that opportunity to stretch and you just destroy, you kill it, you're like, holy crap, how did you even know how to do that stuff, right? You took full, and then versus you didn't look at it, didn't break it down, and you're kind of just floating through and like, oh, people will transfer their knowledge and we'll figure it out. And the more experience I have, the better I'll be. And you're just kind of like, blah, blah, blah. Then when that opportunity comes along, you might not be able to knock it out of the park with the other version of you would, right? And I know everybody knows this. It's simple stuff, right? Forgot what the original question was. Do that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What's the reasons for quitting?
Yeah. Yeah. When should you quit and when should you not quit? Like if you feel you are not progressing or growing.
All right. Figure out if you're really not progressing or growing because of the company that you're in or because of you.
Yeah.
Figure out which one it is. If it's because of you, fix you. If it's because of the company, maybe find another company.
Yeah. That was a lot shorter.
That's a lot shorter. Yeah. The key is just to not have the self-awareness and the blame on other people when it's actually you.
Yeah. You have to self-assess regularly, right? To find out where you are falling short first. Because more often than not, you're the one who's not living up to your own expectations.
Right.
So,
it's a hard pill to swallow, but
yeah,
get to it.
Yeah. So quitting. How to explain it when you're talking to a potential employer. When you should quit and when you should not quit. It all boils down to the self-reflection, and are you doing your absolute best to live up to your own expectations? And finding that role that is the best fit and the most fulfilling for you, where you can contribute your most to a potential employer. Awesome. Comment and send us an email at questions@impactfulengineer.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts on quitting.
Hey guys, I hope you had a great time listening. Maybe you learned something new, maybe you got inspired, or at least took one thing away that you'd be able to use. Maybe you just had a good laugh. Impactful Engineering's hope and mission is that through this podcast, we can play a small part in expanding the reach and awareness of engineering and all of its many areas of application. The multiple engineering career paths available can be hugely rewarding as part of a fulfilled life, creating opportunity to impact nearly everyone in the modern world. An engineer's work helps to foster creation of new technologies, create safe and comfortable environments in which people can work, and lends to the sustainable future of everyone on the planet. The world needs more impactful engineers. Our vision is to provide engineers with the perspective and the tools to allow themselves the opportunity to become the most impactful engineers they can be. Included in our vision is to grow the impactful engineering community to a point where we can provide full ride scholarships to students in every single U.S. state every single year. This is an enormous goal. With your help, we can get there. To start, we will continue to execute this mission in the way that we know how, having conversations, telling stories, and talking about what we find interesting and are passionate about. If the episode made you think, made you object, made you think you could possibly be doing something more with your day, or brought about an idea that you could spend more time on developing further, please share the show or recommend it to your friends. Even if you didn't personally think it was a huge help, there may be someone that you know that could benefit from it, and that's all we can ask for. Until next time on the Impactful Engineer Podcast.